Hey guys, so I put together a video training on how you can build a fully automated project management system on Airtable for your agency. Now, this is a system I built out for an e-com agency who's working with 14 clients. I did forget to mention this in the video, but this is going to be part one of a mini series that I'm doing where I'm going to be documenting the process of actually building out this system as well as any updates that I make to it as well. So feel free to follow along and build the system out yourself. Of course, if there are any questions, please do let me know. And if you like this video, please do give it a like to support the channel. I'm thinking of doing more kind of Loom style videos where I break down systems, not just from a technical point of view, but from a systems thinking point of view as well. And going into stuff like stripping complexity, removing waste, simplifying your business, just to make really running your business much more easy and much more enjoyable. So yeah, guys, I hope you enjoy the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers. So you're going to want to go to Airtable, create an account. For this, it is ideal if you have the paid plan for Airtable. It's not expensive at all, but I do believe this will work on the free plan as well. Okay, so first thing you're going to want to do is head over to the Create a Base button in the top right. Okay, and you'll see here, I don't really like this color, so I'm going to change this. You can change like the title of the base by clicking up here, as well as the appearance and the icon as well, right? So I'm going to rename this the Client Operations Base. So as I said, this is going to be one centralized system where we can manage all of our clients. Okay, so I'm going to name it this, and then I'm going to just pick something like this color here. That looks nice. And then here is what we call the interface, or what we call really like the main kind of base for Airtable. Okay, so the way Airtable works. Sorry, I was getting my words mixed up there. But the way Airtable works is, imagine it as a slightly more advanced Google Sheets, but you can view data in different ways. So you can really build custom systems for your business. And what it has is, as I said, it has a couple different options up here. So data is like what you're looking at here, the table view, and there are other views that we can see here. So let's say we have a table view, which is what you're looking at here. We can also view the data, or the same data that's in this table, but we can view it, for example, in a calendar view or a Kanban view. Okay, so it's nice and simple. Okay, but we also have automations up here, which, as I said, I will address at some point in this video. That'll be once we kind of build the base out. And then interfaces is also like dashboards and metrics and tracking, things like that, right? So I probably won't touch on interfaces in this video. That'll be for another video. I really want to focus on just how you can build a simple project management kind of client operations base for your agency to just start allowing your team to effortlessly run the day-to-day and actually manage the clients without needing you, and how we're going to make it super automated and connected to the rest of your business. So the first thing we're going to want to do here, you're going to see a couple of different columns, right? So for now, I'm going to delete these columns, right? So you can just highlight them all and delete them. And you see that it works just like a Google Sheet, right? So we've got a cell here, we've got a cell here, and a cell here, right? So it's very, very basic. But what we're going to do is we're going to rename this first one, which says name, which is a single line text. We're going to rename this to task, okay? Now, before we get into the actual columns, I'm going to shut this for a second. What we're going to want to do here is rename this the master view. So master view, and we're going to put in brackets, don't touch, okay? Because this is a specific view that is going to act as like a place where all the columns are. And we're going to build out all the columns for our database, okay? And then once we've done that, we're going to go through and create the structure for our project management system, okay? So once you've done that, we then want to start building out our columns, okay? And there's going to be a bunch of different columns that you're going to need, right, in order to actually create tasks, set dates, set priorities, and set other things like that, maybe comments and stuff like that, okay? So we're going to, as I said, have the task column here, and then you're going to want to click on this plus symbol here, which is add a field. And here what we're going to actually add is we're going to add a date, and you can either do two things. We can do due date, so when is the task due, or what I prefer to do and what I recommend you do is the due date, or the DO date, right? So this is when you're actually going to do the task, okay? So it's a good little tip there if you want to kind of prioritize your tasks for the clients. Then you can essentially put, instead of a due date, when does this task need to be done by, you can actually put, when is this task going to be done? So if this task is something that the team is going to do, they would select it as, we're going to do this task on this specific day. Now we can add the time in as well. You want to put in your time zone. I'm in Europe, so I'm going to put the format as that. I'm going to include the time for this example, but again, you don't have to do that. Let's put it as this, create field. So we've now got our dates column. And when I click on this, you're going to see that this is now going to appear, so I can select a date as to when that task is going to be done, okay? But now we need to add some extra columns. So what we're going to do is we're going to go and create some more. So I'm trying to think of what we can add here to make it a little bit more like ClickUp or something like that. So we're going to go to the status of, sorry, not status, we're going to go to the field name single select, and we're going to select that. and we're going to actually call this status, okay? And then here, this is a single select, so we can add options, and we're going to want to add a couple of different options here. There's going to be idea, there's going to be task, no, sorry, what am I saying? It's going to be in progress, sorry, and then there's going to be completed, and then, no, sorry, we're going to change it to do. So it's going to be to do, in progress, and completed, and then we'll also add one more underneath in progress, which is overdue. Okay, so these are going to be the statuses for each of our tasks. Okay, so I'm just going to make these colored so it looks a bit better. I'm going to make this color. Overdue is going to be red, and completed is going to be green. So when I now create this field, you'll see that when I select this box, it's going to be to do, in progress, overdue, and completed. So for, let's say, task 1, I'm going to do it on Friday the 15th, and the status is to do, right? Then when Friday arrives, I can then select it to in progress. I know that that task is now in progress, okay? So that is the first 3 columns. The next column we're going to also want to select is another single select, and this is going to be the priority, okay? So the priority of the task. I'm going to do low, medium, and high, like this, okay? And then again, I'm going to color code them. So let's just do low as blue, medium as yellow, and then red as high, like this. And I'm going to create. So again, we've added our field now, and we've got different priorities for each task. By the way, you can add little descriptions here on each column. So this is the priority of the task. And by the way, guys, this is what I am running you through here. This is something I've built for an e-commerce agency with 13 active clients. And as I said, we built out their full project management system and made it super, super automated, so that their team can now manage all of the clients, while the 2 founders can actually work on, growing a business and just making sure the clients are happy. So this is a proven system, just to be clear. So now we've got those 4 columns. I'm trying to think and remember what else we need to put on here. There needs to be a checkbox for done. So when the task is done, we're going to select that. So we're going to select the field as a checkbox like that, and we're just going to name it done and click save. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to move status and priority around as well, just so it's clear. So we've got medium, the status is to do, and then we've got the task name. I'm going to drag that out a little bit just so we can see it. And then, as I said, we've got our main columns here. Now, just a quick tip of what you can do, because what we're looking at here is the table view. Okay, and I said this is the master view, which once we've built out all the columns for, we're going to actually hide this view, and we're going to add some extra views to make it way easier to manage all of this. And you'll see what I mean in a minute. But as I was saying, what we can do is, right now you're just seeing the individual rows, or what they're actually called is records on Airtable. But we can actually expand a record, right, and open it up and see all the details for that. So I can click on this expand icon here, and you can see that that has expanded task 1, and I can now see the due date, the priority, the status, and has it been done, right? So that, I believe, is the main part of the master view. Trying to think what else we can add here. Oh, I can't believe I forgot this. It's also going to be assignee, right? So who is actually going to do the task, okay? So I'm just trying to think user, we can do like this, and we're going to put assignee, okay? And I'm going to click notify users, yeah, that's fine. Allow adding multiple users, that's also fine. Create field. So I'm just going to move this assignee column to the left. And now you can see that I can select assignees. This is just an example base. So once you've added your team, you'd have all of them showing here. But now I can select assignees for specific tasks, okay? Which again is going to be good if you've got 10 clients that you're working with, and you have a media buyer or a team member who's managing those clients. Then you're going to want to have obviously the tasks within your project management system that are assigned to that team member so that they can execute on that, okay? Now what I'm going to do, because we've built this out, now this is our very much basic table, I want to now start building the actual project management base out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this record. I'm going to duplicate it again just so I've got a couple different tasks here. I'm going to get rid of those first 2 that I was doing as a test, and then I'm just going to name this task 2, task 3, and then I'm just going to change the priorities as well, and I'm going to make them just so they're all different so we can see. And then now what we need to do is we need to create our client overview list, okay? And this is going to be one list where we can manage all of the client's tasks. And that also reminds me, this is a raw video, guys, so as I said, I'm kind of just thinking this as I go in terms of trying to remember all the columns. But the final column we need to put in place, can't believe I actually forgot this, is the client itself, okay? So in here we would have client A, client B, client C, okay, and so on. And I'm going to create the field. I'm actually going to move this down to here. so that I can see. And then this is client A, this is client B, and this is client C. Okay, so now you can also take the color away, so there's no color for that, so they're all just kind of gray. But now we have all of our columns. Okay, so once you've done this, and again, you want to add you can add specific columns later on. Depending on your niche and stuff like that. And I might make future videos expanding on this space, but for now I just want to keep it super simple for you and show you how you can set this up. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in the bottom left to the crate, so it opens this up. And then the view that I'm actually looking to use is the list view. Now you can use other views such as the Kanban, so that's similar to like a Trello board, or you can use the calendar view. The timeline view is also good. All of these are great, but the one I think is the most simple to use, and simple is always the best, is the list view. Okay, so I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to actually name this I'm going to name it the all clients, something like this, right? I'm going to name it all clients, and I'm going to create that list. Okay, so I'm going to move that up here, and now it's looking like this, which looks kind of basic, right? It looks kind of simple. So what we need to do is we need to start to organize this and turn it into a project management base. Okay, so what I'm going to do here, you want to click on customize rows. Okay, because right now the only row that is showing is the task. Okay, so I'm going to customize the rows. And the ones I'm going to select are the due date, the priority, the status for now, and the assignee. Okay, so it's nice and simple. So you can see here we've got task 1, task 2, task 3. Okay, but if you remember, these 3 tasks are spread across 3 different clients. We had client A, client B, client C. So we need to basically categorize those for each client. So what I'm aiming to do with this list, imagine this is like the master list that has all of your clients within, and you can see all the tasks within those clients for each client. Sorry. So to show you what that looks like, it would look something like this, which is you want to click on group, and then we're going to click the group by client, and now you can see that this has turned this now into individual. It's kind of separated them and segmented them into lists. So we've got client A, client B, and client C. Now I'm just going to go back to customize rows, and I'm going to select the done, which is here. So this is once the task is done, we can tick it like this, and then pretty soon, in a minute, we're going to set up an automation on how to automatically update it from to do to completed when that is ticked. Okay, so again, what it should look like now for you, hopefully you're building this out alongside me, is the task, the due date, the priority, the status, the assignee, and then the done checkbox. Okay, we're not showing the client column because we don't need to, because it's already up here. Okay, that's why on this, at least on this view. So again, we're viewing the same data that's on the master don't touch view, but we're just viewing it in a list. Okay, so it's nice and simple. So for this instance, we just don't need the client column. So I'm going to hide it. I'm not deleting it. I'm just hiding it. As you can see, I can toggle this client view or client button here, and it will show it and then remove it. Okay, so now we've done that. There's one extra grouping that we want to do. So I'm going to go to group again, and I'm going to click on this button, which is add a subgroup. Okay, and the subgroup I'm going to select is status. Okay, because I want to now categorize the different task statuses within each client. So by task status, I'm talking about to do, in progress, overdue, and complete. Okay. Now, once you've done that, what we're going to do is we're going to set up a filter. So we're going to go to filter up here. We're going to go add condition, and we're going to do where status is not completed. Okay. So what that means is that it's not going to show the completed tasks within here. So if I was to complete this task, that's now going to disappear. So client A has disappeared, as you'll notice, right? The same with this, with client B here. If I tick this as completed, it's now disappeared, and we're just left with client C. So the reason why we want to have that is because you don't want to have all your completed tasks stacking up. So I'm just going to go back here and just move these back to do, so they appear again in the all clients list view. But then what I'm also going to start doing is I'm just going to duplicate some of these records. So we have a couple in here. So I'm just going to duplicate this. I'm going to duplicate this. So I'm just adding extra tasks to each client, and you'll see that that's starting to look like this. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this one as in progress. I'm going to select this one as overdue, and then I'm going to select this one also as in progress here. So now you can see that not only am I seeing all of client A's tasks, but I'm now seeing all of the client A tasks that need to be done, but also the tasks that are in progress. And again, this is just getting more organized and kind of segmenting different things. What you can also do is you can close the views as well. So if you wanted to just view client C, I can close client A and close client B, and I can now just see, okay, this is what needs to be done here. Okay, so that is in regards to the all clients view. Okay, where we can see everything and have it all nice and neatly organized. And again, if you want to add a task, it's just click here. I'm going to click, let's say it's update the client with a loom. Okay, and then again, we can select our date and time. So we're going to go to, let's say, next week at 4. This is a medium task and it's a to-do, right? So that's also important to note that if you create a record or create a task within this status section, it's going to automatically make it a to-do status, right? But again, if I was to do it here in the in progress section and then do it as, I don't know, the 20th of December, set it as high, it's automatically become in progress. And I'm just going to select myself again like this, okay? So now that's done, we also want to just sort the tasks as well. And the way we want to sort them is by due date and then sort them also by priority, okay? So what that means is it's going to prioritize the tasks that need to be done first, okay? Or where they need to be, or where the due date is first, basically. So for example, you can see here that if I made this this one low and this one even high, let's make this one high. So you can see here that the reason why task 1 is ordered above the update the client is because the due date is nearer to us than the 18th. The 15th is nearer than the 18th, right? But if I made this to today, right, you can see that that's now moved. So again, the reason why is because we're going off the due date, the DO date. When are we going to do that task? So it makes sense to have those at the top, right? And then what that means is when you start to have lots of tasks appearing for every client, when we have it sorted by this way, so by due date first and then the priority, it's going to organize those the right way. So again, if I made this task here the 14th as well, you can see now because the time, actually I'm making the same time as well. Let's do 4 p.m. and let's make this one 4 p.m. You can see now that I think that should, no, so it's not working because the sort for the priority needs to be last to first. That should work now. Yeah, so you can see now it's swapped over. So now it's sorting by due date first, which is done, which I showed in the previous example. But again, if the tasks are due on the same day, at least at the same time, then it's going to prioritize the priority level first. So as I said, if there was like 10 tasks that need to be done for client A today, it's going to sort those in priority order, which is really handy. Okay, so now we've done that, what you're going to want to do is we're going to go to a new section, and I'm going to call this the master, just like the master, something like that, and I'm going to move that up here. Okay, and I'm also going to create another section, and I'm just going to call it ignore, like this. And I'm going to move the master view don't touch into the ignore section, and then I'm going to close it, okay, because we don't really need to see that, okay? So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide this as well, and then I'm going to create one more section, called clients, and then I'm going to move that to here, and then this is where we're going to have lists for individual clients, so a separate list for client A only, a separate list for client B only, and so on and so on. Okay, so I just had to edit that a little bit, so that's why it might have jumped a bit. But moving on with the base, what we're going to do is once we've got that master section with the all client section in here, so now you can see that we've got all of the tasks broken down into status and grouped by client, so client A, client B, client C. But now I want to create individual lists for each and every client. So I'm going to duplicate the view by right-clicking and clicking duplicate, and you can see it's created now a copy. So what I'm going to name this now is client A, okay? And I'm going to move this into the client section, okay? And now what I want to do is I want to remove the groups for now. I'm gonna leave actually the status group, and then for the filter, I'm going to actually remove this, and I'm going to add a condition where the client is client A, right? Because this is for client A, and I'm going to select that, and you can see now that now we just have a view or a list just for client A, right? And it's super simple. It's broken down by to-do status, in progress. But if I was to add some extra records, so just an example like this, and set a date on it, set the priority, and set this as let's set this as complete. That's now going to appear down here. So you can see that now we're seeing all of the tasks just for client A, right? So now what you're seeing here is a master view for all the clients, right, which is super simple, and then a individual view for each client. So again, what that means is you can, let's say you have a weekly team call, something like this with your team, you can go through each client's list and basically say what needs to be done for each week. So this week we need to, launch the Google campaign, something like this, right? So again, we're able to individually break the project base down into client lists, keeping it nice and organized. So once you've done this, and as I said, you set up that filter, you keep the sort the same, the group is just by the status, and it can either be first to last or last to first. I always recommend just closing the status complete, the completed status, so that it just doesn't start to pile up, right? Because if you have lots of tasks that you're completing, and as I said, they start to stack up, it's going to get very clustered. So as I said, just keep that closed, and I would actually keep it as first to last, so it's nice and easy. You could move it as well. So what you can do is on the master view for the status, you can actually move these individually. So if I was to move that there, move that there, and that there, so overdue, in progress, to do, complete, and click save, it should update on here. So now in progress is at the top, but if I was to make this task, so let's say this task here is overdue, so it was yesterday, that will be overdue, and you can see now that that appears here. So overdue are like the most priority tasks that need to be done because they're overdue for the client. Then there's in progress, and then there's tasks that need to be done in the future, so to do tasks, and then completed down here. I think that's the best way to manage it, okay? So once you've done that, we now have, as I said, our master view, which has all the clients in there, and then we have our individual client lists as well. You then want to go and duplicate the views, okay? So client B, like this, and then when we've done that, because this is still showing client A's tasks, as you can see, it's the same. So again, we just click back on the filter, and we're going to click where client is, and now we're going to select client B. You can see now it's changed to client B. And we've got one task overdue and one task that needs to be done, right? So again, you want to now start duplicating those and use, and that is now your kind of project base infrastructure complete. Okay, so this is now super simple project management base that you can use, as I said, because we've got each individual list, and then we've got the master list as well. But there's one thing that we need to do now to really take this to the next level, and that is automation. Okay, so Airtable automation is really, really powerful because we can, as I said, automate an absolute ton of stuff within our project management base. Okay, so what I'm going to start off with is a nice and simple one, which is when a task is ticked as done, it's going to update the status to complete, right? So when your team have completed a task, they're going to tick on done like that, and it's going to update it. So if we go back to automations, we're going to click on add a trigger, and we're going to do when a record matches a condition, and then we're going to select the table. Now our table is this table one here. I'd actually recommend you rename this to something like project management or something like that. You can really name it whatever you want, but name it something like that. And then if we go back to the automations, we can now select project management as a table, and the condition is when a record, what this basically means is when a record, or sorry, not a record, when done is ticked, okay? And now it will ask us to choose the record, okay? But actually right now there aren't any, okay? Because there are no records in this database that don't have a tick. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tick, let's say this task here, and I'm going to leave it as that, and I'm going to go to here. And what client was this for? Let's just check. That's for client A. It's in the info. So if I go to client A, you'll see that this task has been ticked. So I'm going to go to the back to the automation, choose record, and now you'll see it's showing here, right? Because that record matches that condition. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do add an advanced logic or action. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click update record, okay? And I'm going to select the table on the right here, which is project management. And then let me move myself over here. I'm going to put myself here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to select a record ID. So here, record ID, like this. So you just click that little blue, sorry, Grammarly's getting in the way, that little blue symbol. You're going to click on the Airtable record ID, which is this one here. Okay, so that's pulling the ID of that specific record, or in other words, that specific task. Okay, so once that is done, we're then going to want to click on fields and choose a field. Okay, and the field that we'd like to update, because this is updating a record, or as I said, translated in simpler terms, is update a task. We want to update the task status to complete or completed. Okay, and then what we can do is we can click on run as configured, and then click on this blue button, run test. And when I click that, what's going to happen is you'll see that it's moved the record or the task. So this task for client A, it's changed it from in progress to completed, right? So that has worked, right? That's what we wanted to do for this task, which was when a record matches a condition, which is if the done column is ticked or the box is ticked as task done, we're going to update the record to change the status from to do or in progress or overdue, and we're going to change it to completed, okay? Now I'm just going to rename this to task complete, something like that. I'm going to do a little arrow, update status to completed. Okay, and then because this is done, I can now tick it, and it is now live, right? So if I run back to here, you can see that that task is now hidden. It's in the completed, right? And then if I was to also say for this task here, which is task one copy, it's overdue, and now I've done it, I'm going to tick it, and you've got to give it a couple of seconds sometimes just for the automation to trigger, but now that's moved into completed. So again, it's just little automations like this to help you really just make this much easier to manage, right? Now, there are a couple more automations that I want to show you, which is going to make this super, super easy for you as well. So the next one I want to create is an automation, which is when a record's due date or due date, whichever one that you want to go for. I said I recommend the due date. so the DO date, is when that date passes, we want to update that record to be overdue. Or in other words, when that task is overdue and it is not complete, we want to set up an automation that is going to update the status to overdue and send an alert to your team. Okay, so what we're going to do is, again, we're going to select on when a record matches a condition. Okay, and we're going to select on the project management base, we're going to go to add condition, and we're going to do when due date is, I believe after, trying to remember which one it is, I think we need to do is when due date, yeah, so when due date is yesterday. Okay, I'm gonna choose the record, no, sorry, is on or before today, right? Or you could put actually is after today. Okay, choose a record. You can see that these ones are coming up. These should be before today, so no, that's not right. Okay, sorry, I had to figure that out there and just refresh myself which one it is. So for this, for now, we're going to do when due date is yesterday. Okay, so we're going to choose a record and there is a task. This one is complete. So I'm just going to go and change that quickly. Or I'm going to just go and select a record for now as an example, as something that was yesterday. So this task is yesterday, and at the moment it's a high priority task that is to-do status. Okay, so I'm going to go back to automation. So again, we're selecting in the table of project management when a due date is yesterday. Okay, we're going to select choose record, and you're going to see our record here, which is to do. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add another step, which is to update the record. Okay, so similar to the last step. And what we're going to do is going to select our base. We are going to select on Airtable record ID like this. We're going to select choose field, and we're going to go for the task status. And the status this time we're going to select is overdue. Okay, and we're going to click on run as configured, run test, and then that is going to run the test. And you'll see it's changed it from to do to overdue for client A for that specific task. So again, if I go back now to client A, you'll see that this task, update the client with a loom, has been automatically, once the date has passed, has been updated automatically to overdue. Okay. Now on its own, this is fine, but we want to take this, the next level higher, right? So what we can do is I want to use part of Airtable's integration and why the automation is so powerful, and that's actually connecting it to your other apps. So for this example, we're going to show you Slack and how to send a message in Slack that can be automatically notifying your team when tasks are overdue. Okay, so what you're going to do is select on your Slack account, and then we're going to select the channel. You want to create a channel on your Slack called overdue tasks, and you want to add your team to that channel. And then we're going to write a message here, something like, hey channel, there are tasks that are overdue. Please get them done ASAP. And then I'm going to put a space down, and then I'm going to click on this plus symbol, and then I'm going to send the list of records that are actually overdue. So I'm not just sending that one task. If there are 10 tasks and all of them are for all of your different clients that are overdue, it's going to list all of them so that you can see that within Slack. So it's going to click on task, I'm going to click on client, I'm going to click on the due date, the status, the priority, and the assignee, because those are the stuff that I want to come through in my Slack message. Okay, and I'm going to click insert, and then I'm just going to put thanks or something like that. Or what you can also do actually is put link to Airtable like this, and then you can click on this here, which is base record URL. So that will give you a link to the record as well in Slack that you can just click on and open up. So again, this is for your team, right? This is for your team who's managing the clients. This is going to automatically notify them when the record is overdue. Okay, or sorry, when the task is overdue. Okay, so the bot name is just going to be called overdue tasks, something like that. And then what I'm going to do, I'm just going to generate a preview to show you what it looks like. So you can see there it's come through, hey channels. This will come through in your Slack, in your overdue tasks channel. It's going to say, hey channels, so it's going to alert the entire team who are in there. There are tasks that are overdue, please get them done ASAP. And then it's going to actually list all the tasks. So task, this is for this example, this is the only task that, sorry, it's gone off there, but that was the only task that is obviously overdue at the moment. So it's just pulling that one, but it will pull all of the tasks that are overdue. Okay, so that is the kind of second automation, and I'm just going to name that overdue tasks, send message in Slack. Okay, and I'm going to turn that on. And then the next thing I want to do is create one more automation, which is around here, which is one for tasks that are due today, right? Because again, every day we want to see if there are tasks that are due today, and we'd like to notify the team and just to make sure that they're in the loop about what's happening in regards to what tasks need to be done that day. Okay, so again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a trigger, and I'm going to do when a record matches a condition again. I'm going to do project management, select the condition, when the due date is, and we're going to select today, choose record, there is one in here, what we're going to do is we are going to just do a simple send a Slack message like this. I'm going to select your Slack account, and then the channel is going to be task due today, I believe it is. Where is it at? Task due today. There we go. Right. So again, we're going to put in our message, hey, hey channel. Again, you can really customize this however you want. I'm just showing you the overall base and the infrastructure of the system that you can put in place. Hey channel, there are tasks due today. Please check, something simple like that. And then here again, we're going to list. So scroll down here, click on list, and we're going to select all the tasks for the client, the due date, the priority status, and assignee. So again, it's going to pull not just one task that is due today, it's going to pull all of the tasks in your client operations base for all of the clients that are in there, and it's going to put them into that Slack message. And then we're going to put link to Airtable again, like that, so the team can just pull it up. And again, guys, the reason why this is effective and why this kind of makes it stand out against something like ClickUp or Asana is because you could set up these automations within Zapier or even Make, but you'll hit your Zap limit and automation limit a lot faster, right? Because you only get a certain amount of automations with Zapier, whereas with Airtable on the Pro plan, I think it's $24 a month, so it's pretty cheap. You can have 25,000 automation runs a month, which is a lot, right? And as I said, the point of this is that this is going to almost automatically manage the team, because you're not having to come into here and be like, right, what tasks are overdue, and then you need to go and tell your team that, hey, this stuff is actually overdue, can you please do it? Airtable is going to automatically tell the team what needs to be done and what is overdue, right? So this is super powerful system once set up correctly. And really, as I said, I'm giving you a super basic one here that's going to work for just for your business to make things so much smoother. I am going to be making more videos where I'm updating this base over time. I don't want to keep this video too long, but I want to add stuff like subtasks and tracking and just other automations as well that's going to make it so much more easier. So think of this as like a part 1 video or a mini series video. There's going to be a lot more coming for this as well. So what I want to put here, I think it was just the link to the Airtable. So I'm just going to do the base record URL, and I'm just going to put thanks. This is bot name, so tasks due today, right? So that's what's going to come through on Slack. And then I'm just going to generate a preview, show you what it looks like. And you can see that, hey channel, these are the tasks that are due today, and it's got all of that within here. And then it's got the link at the bottom that I can click on. And again, that's going to be a notifier to my team. Okay. So again, I'm going to rename this today's tasks, like that. Send message in Slack, right? And then I can turn this on. What you can also do is you can create some sections for the automations as well if you want to make it a bit organized, especially if you're going to have lots in here. But now let's quickly head back to our base, okay? And you can see here it's nice and simple. We've got our master view, we've got our individual client views, and now if the with the automations in place, it's going to make it easier. So again, client A's task is overdue. It's going to send that message to Slack. It's going to notify the team. They open up the base, they get that task done, they go ahead and update the client, and now they've done the task like that. They've ticked it off. And then that is going to automatically go into completed, so it's done, right? So again, guys, this is not just going to make things easier, it's going to increase the efficiency of the team as well, okay? Now, one more thing I want to show you before we kind of finalize and finish this video is the actual comment section as well, right? Because again, project management tools like ClickUp and Asana also have the ability to comment on specific tasks, okay? So what you can do here is when you open up a record or a task, we can actually add comments on the right here and leave comments for this specific task. So you and your team can, as I said, have conversations on the right here to make sure that you're keeping tabs of what's going on for this specific thing. So let's say launch the Google campaign. We're going to need lots of different stuff within here. Or let's say your team need to ask you a question or anything like that. Maybe you need something for the client. You can leave comments here like that, and you can tag people as well, right? So you can at people and at your team. So now when I have this here, you can see there's a little C comment button like that, and you can see that it all is here. So you can keep a nice record for every single task for every single client as well. Okay, so guys, that is pretty much, I believe, the entire system for now. As I said, this is going to be a kind of mini series that I'm doing. It has been a bit all over the place, so I do apologize. This was more of a raw video that I wanted to just put together and show you how to just build this simple project management system that is automated and will allow, as I said, you guys to just manage your client projects a lot more. Now, as I said, over the coming weeks, I'm going to be sharing more stuff around how you can make this even more advanced add different features, because in all honesty, there is a lot more we can do here, such as calendar views, Kanban views, and timeline views. Timeline views is very, very effective as well. But if we're talking about if you're an agency that's working with 10 or 20 plus clients, and you just want a simple project management system to easily manage tasks for all of your clients so that your team can just be more efficient, handle all this stuff, and then leverage the power of automation to make your team more efficient, then this is a system, as I said, you can follow. So yeah, I hope this has been helpful. And yeah, please give it a like if you did. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.